Bueno, gente, ya habéis visto en el vídeo anterior, tío, que yo impedí antes que al pavo será imposible matarlo, no lo hago ni cosquillas. O sea, yo supongo que será o siguiendo las misiones estas de facción, que lleguemos a ella con más cosas o con algo que nos ayude a vencerlo, o siguiendo la misión principal, no estoy seguro. Vale, pero bueno, ya lo iremos viendo. De momento vamos a seguir con las de facción, que sabéis que me gusta terminarlas para los giros de las cartas del sino y eso que te da mejoras permanentes. Acordaros, en el gameplay 19 los 3 primeros minutos está explicado por qué se están haciendo los directos en vez de ser vídeos normales y por qué estamos sin comentarios y sin chat y toda esa serie de cosas. ¿Vale? Venga, pues me quito el pingan y ya seguimos. Hasta luego.
It mortal at last. rebellion, Saturnin, the Tuatha, will not rest. Just what he wanted, as he planned all along.
Vizarine is safe. By the Weeping King, we might be thankful for something today. The rebels were angry without doubt. They must have done this as a last act before heading south. I know little of the rest. You will have to ask Vizarine. Farewell.
Speak. You have arrived as Tybri said you would. It is good that you were able to get through the proving halls unscathed. But there are greater events at work here. The house may have breathed its last. He has wreaked havoc within the house, and loosed horrors that none of us dare witness a second time. He is our foe, and he must be stopped. The rebels have begun a march of folly to make war on the Tuatha. As they said, they are rallying at a fortress called the Fallen Hall. I sought to stay them. They ignored me. I sought to warn them. They paid no heed. For them, the war started when I became the King of Sorrows. And now, my reign ends. Saturnin wants this, mortal. Without leadership, the rebels will be easily picked off. And so it falls to you and Tybri to save them. Years ago, the House of Sorrows and the Tuatha made a pact of necessity. The house would remain free of the Tuatha, but could not interfere with their war. In addition, the Tuatha demanded we appoint a more amiable king, one who would uphold the pact. And so I was named. I became the face of our submission, and when Saturnin led the Tuatha to fight us, the house had no reason left to heed me. No, I will not have every last member of my house blundering to their death like a fool. Unlike Fae, mortals cannot be reborn. You will get your wish, in part. Saturnin will have to reveal himself in some form to attack the rebels. Confronting him is your top, your only priority. I have instructed Tybri to assist you as best she can, but she is not as suited to this work as you, mortal. Look after her. They are in the Fallen Hall. Save who you can, but more importantly, we must learn what we can of Saturnin.
Yes? There is no time. We must go to the Fallen Hall, mortal. Our brothers and sisters are in danger. It lies south of here, in the peaks of the Keening. Farewell.
Do not be alarmed, young one. I am not your enemy. Not all of the Winter Fae have joined the ranks of the Tuatha. Even here, the Tuatha created death and destruction. When they summoned Baelor, the region was consumed in flames. It will be a long time before anything grows in the charred path he left behind. I did not join the Tuatha when they came, even as other that I cared for fell under their spell. The great cycle and the balance are what I follow. This war of theirs is lunacy.
I do not understand them or their new god. My friends among them have become wild, not like themselves at all. They are cruel and distant now, fanatical in their beliefs. I am awaiting the return of my beloved Alea. She fell under the spell of the Tuatha and marched north with their vile army. Among them she perished, one of the many to fall at Melsenshir. I wonder, could you help me with a small task? I need this ring placed inside of a hollow. I am forbidden from entering Ranil. When Alea fell under the spell of the Tuatha, I tried to convince her that it was lunacy, but her belief was fanatical. She banished me from her presence and that of her hollow. Thank you, mortal. Alea's hollow is called Ranil. It lies on the southern edge of the Keening. There is a small altar at its bottom. Place the ring there. I wish to show Alea that my love has remained true, and that I wait for her still. My beloved. But with the coming of the Tuatha, she changed. She no longer cared for the balance. I tried to convince her to return to the cycle, but she wouldn't listen. She marched with the Tuatha army to Melsenshir and fell during the battle. Ranil is a fey hollow on the southern edge of the Keening. It is where Alea returns after each turn of the Great Cycle. Go to play. By doing so, we shall demonstrate to Alea that my love for her remains true. Farewell.
know you. You are the one who slew the Baylor at Melson Shear. I was at that battle as well. It was my unit that drove the Tuatha off the southern wall. Please, you must help me. Those Jotun will not let me survive much longer. Many soldiers of the Alpha army were drafted, but I volunteered. I could not watch as my southern cousins were annihilated. I've been fighting alongside my brethren for years, and just as I was starting to think that this war would never end, you showed up. Thank you, hero, for giving me hope. The wind is ferocious, the rocks are sharp, and the water is still and blood. You could not find a more inhospitable place. They are vile creatures. I do not know how anyone... You would have to be desperate to hire them as mercenaries. The key to this cage is held by a Jotun rune lord, just down the road. That fat bastard comes by here every morning and taunts me with it. Please, retrieve it and get me the hell out of here. After the siege was broken, my commander saw the witch knight Clarin fleeing to the east. He thought that if we could catch him before he made it to Alabastra, we could get rid of one of the Tuatha generals. We did not count on Clarin having a refuge full of Jotun mercenaries. Thank you. Please hurry, for I have unfinished... I do not think he even cares about their religion. Until the next time. Have you gotten the key? That Jotun rune lord down the road. Until the next time. of Cruddock slime died painfully. I have another favor to ask of you, hero. The Witch Knight Claren is holed up in Gennig, the keep on the hill. Meet me inside so that we can hunt him. We cannot let one of the Tuatha's generals escape. We need to go to Gennig, the keep on the hill. Meet me inside. Until the next time.
Gente, nada, un momentito, voy a coger un poquito de algo para comer.
It is a dark place we have come to. I can hear the sorrows of our brothers and sisters. They are crying out with each sword stroke. Saturnin has tainted this place. We must head deeper into the hall. Behind the great cavern there's a holdfast sealed with mighty doors. The rebels will be there, and likely Saturnin as well. Farewell. Yes? Must be the leader, Saturnin. That was the leader. It must have been Saturnin. And if he's heading in there, that must be where the rest of the House of Sorrows are. We have to get past this door. We need to stop him before the rebels are all killed. The Fallen Hall is a fortress in the Phalanx. To get to its heart, we will need to open 3 great doors. There should be 2 other sigil stones that we can use in addition to the one before us. They will grant us passage. The Fallen Hall is well known in these lands for its strong defences. There are 3 sigil stones that control the Holdfast's mighty doors. They are strewn throughout the hall. Activate all of them and the path to the Holdfast will be open. Farewell. The path is cleared, and now we must confront Saturnin. He is in the holdfast, the deepest part of the hall. Now that it has been unlocked, we can reach him. Farewell.
Oh, this is splendid. I was worried I would have nothing left to see to after I slaughtered these wretches. Saturnin. You use that name so freely, but your little guess is wrong. I am not Saturnin. I am but a blade that Saturnin has employed in his war. And now, that blade turns on you. More amusing than I originally believed, but my master has given me instructions to spare you. Saturnin has a message for you to deliver to your master. This war is over. Soon the sorrows will belong to the Tuatha.
I can scarcely believe it. All this death, all this destruction, and we have nothing to show for it. No Saturnin, no safety. The Weeping King left the world with good cause. For all that is left of the House of Sorrows is ruin. We must return to Bizrain with this news. He will want to know what has happened here. Farewell.
Saturnin. This latest wound he has dealt may be fatal. He need only for us to succumb, and then he can find these sorrows. So that is what we will deny him. Let our losses harden our resolve. Where once we sought victory, we shall now seek attrition. It is a difficult magic for a mortal mind to grasp, but the accumulation of centuries of sorrows is a fearsome weapon indeed. The burden of a single lifetime of sorrows can be debilitating. Their impact can instill madness or drive a life to end itself. Saturnin would hold a millennium of sorrows. With them, he could obliterate an army's morale and send them from victory to bedlam. Their location is an ancient secret. Only two Fae, the eldest, know. They left the house centuries ago to reside in Amalur. The way to them is blocked by the Great Scale, a mighty spell which you must bypass. That alone will open your path to the eldest. You must kill beasts on the pans of the scale. Death is the only weight it will bear. They know where the sorrows, Saturnin's true target, reside. We must rouse them from their reverie and learn from them. To reach them, one must brave the road southward to Amalur and pass the Great Scale. Kael'rod and Alarain are two of the oldest Fae in the Winter Realm. So old that they predate the house itself. With the death of the house's original ruler, the Weeping King, they fled. Their devotion was to the sorrows, not to winter. I have told you of the burden that every Winter Fae carries from their birth. We are to embody death and decay in our very essence. For centuries, the Delvers of the House of Sorrows have been harvesting this essence from their winter brethren to relieve them of this burden. This amalgam of magic and emotion was collected and concentrated into a single powerful source, the sorrows. And Saturnin wishes to turn that magic on the mortal armies.
The improvements are coming along now. Goodbye. Every day my healing gift grows stronger. It's as though being home again. Be well, my liege.
I'm at your command. Just don't ask me to do anything I don't feel like doing. Bye-bye. Hello there. Business is... booming. Especially good if you're in... Bye-bye.
Prepare for a reckoning.
A ver, gente, un par de minutillos y vuelvo, ¿vale? Me voy a poner algo de comer, tío, me voy a poner algo de beber. Nada, un par de minutos, estoy aquí. Los que lo estoy viendo en directo, pues eso, aguantarme un par de minutillos, y los que lo estéis viendo después, pues le dais ahora un poquito más adelante hasta que esto se mueva y ya está. Ahora vuelvo.
My friends used me for their own gain, and why not? I was, after all, a powerful sorceress who commanded the elements and conjured fear in the heart of any who would oppose her. Oliskar, my apprentice, the entire time was inciting the rabble against me, the witch. You should have known better than to trust him. And Atham, of course, right there, stealing from my library and purse. How could you be such a fool? Atham was someone I thought I could trust.
Sorrow precedes you, mortal. It is almost enough to shift the great scale on its own. It has been centuries since my reverie was last disturbed. For what cause are you here? What could a mortal possibly want with me? Amalur and I have been apart for some time. I think it will be good when this business is over to resume our meditations together. I was another of the wretches that the Weeping King saved when he first walked into the Feylands. When he pulled the rot of winter from me, I learned how I too could do the same. So I learned the finer points of his magic, and followed him as the first delver. It was formed as a way to keep the winter traditions of decay and rot while building a winter court. But in time, we lost true sight of what the essence of winter was. They are Amalur's orders. In many ways, they are the stewards of the House of Sorrows, while delvers deal in the spiritual, tenders see to the corporeal. The Sorrows are the inheritance of the House of Sorrows, so to speak. We have been working at delving for centuries, collecting and shaping this magic, but we had never thought that it could be exploited. Do the Tuatha revere nothing? That moniker holds no meaning to a true Fae. What is age to the ageless, to the immortal? Though all of the house are the followers of the Weeping King, the delvers are his true disciples. They can delve into the sorrows of another, just as he did. Bizarrain, I have been sealed in here for some time, mortal. But even I know this one. His is the hand that leads the House of Sorrows, no? I know something of the war this land cries of. I will serve. But before I go to his side, you must find Amalur. She and I are as one. Once, long ago, Amalur and I walked the midden as faithful devotees of the Weeping King. She a tender, and I a delver. We were the first of our kind. But when the Weeping King passed, there was nothing. The House of Sorrows that he had built no longer served death, but the winter court that it itself had created. So Amalur and I left. We came here. We devoted ourselves to the contemplation of death, as the Weeping King would have wanted. It means much to me that you wish to reunite us. We have been long in isolation, contemplating death. Perhaps too long. As you found me on one part of the scale, so will you find her on the other. Now I will leave my cell to wait for you both. She tends to the scale as I have for these many centuries. You must reset the scale in order to reach her chamber. Among our kind he was, and he remains singular. None could do now what he did, to naturally find the sorrows in others and delve into their being. And though he formed the House of Sorrows, though he saw the birth of the Court of Winter, he did not remain. By choice or fate, he went to Ashara, never to return. I think this war has exhausted all other Winter Fae who knew the Weeping King as he walked. But though Amalur and I remain, I can scarce recall him. Very well.
How curious. You are mortal, but your steps resound with a burden greater than any one mortal might ever hope to bear. More curious still is your presence here. The great scale is not idly moved, nor is my reverie broken without cause. What is your purpose? Of the Weeping King's disciples, we were the first. Standing on the edge of the midden, we bore witness to him, transforming our people into something more. We vowed to never let that memory fade. Though death did call, we remained in this world, so that the knowledge of the Weeping King persisted. Along with the Weeping King, it was Caelrod with whom I watched the rise of winter. We were fated to be the first tender and delver. I think too long have we been in these contemplations, isolated. When this affair is over, I think we will reunite in earnest. In the beginning, it venerated death, but in time the house was revered by Winter Fae for its sacrifice. Of that order I was the first. I had the strength to answer the Weeping King and take the burden of other Fae, but I could not hear the sorrows within them. And so I was to honor the midden and tend its depths, so that nature would forever know that we have honored her call for decay. The first king of the House of Sorrows, and perhaps the greatest Winter Fae to walk these lands, he taught us to delve and to bear the burden of winter. But when the realms of winter were freed of this burden, the Weeping King left this world, never to return. It has been long since that transpired. So long, in fact, that I cannot even recall his face or his presence. But it was powerful. Being in his presence was to know the sorrow of our race. The sorrows, they were meant to stand as a monument to the work of the house. And now they stand on being used as a tool for war. Despicable. Caelrod and I have lived long in this world, it is true. But our choice was not driven by some manner of self-preservation. It was to learn. All Fae return their life energy to Ashara on death. But the nature of Winter Fae, their essence, lies in the decomposition and decay of all things. Caelrod and I have forsaken being reborn anew to embrace the rotting of the corporeal world among us. That is where nature truly lies. They are the heart of this collective. A delver can take the sorrows into their being like the Weeping King did. Becoming a delver means mastering his art. I have felt the shifting of the scale. I know that Caelrod has now ended his contemplations to serve the King of Sorrows. It is no small thing that he asks, for the knowledge that was given to us by the Weeping King was never to propagate nor to be exploited. But I know of the times that are upon us. Come, let us join with Caelrod. If Bizerain and you are to find the sorrows, then it is more than my knowledge you will need. Where we must meet, come, and the eldest will be reunited before you. Goodbye. We must confer in Caelrod's presence. Come, mortal. Goodbye.
We cannot move forward without Alarain's presence, mortal. We will meet her in time. You must be patient, mortal. Very well.
I am glad that Caelrod and I are united once again. But if Bizerain truly seeks the sorrows, then he will need more than the knowledge of the eldest. There is a key of sorts to the sorrows. It lies in the hollow of Sincere, the hollow of the Weeping King. We must recover it. Yes, a mortal is not suited to this task, perhaps, but I do not believe we have time to find another to do this for us. We have not asked you to reunite us without cause. Our efforts must be divided. Bizerain must be instructed, and the key must be found. One of us will accompany you to Sincere, and the other will go to the house. We leave the choice to you, mortal. Caelrod and I have different skills, but both of us are capable of guiding you through Sincere. I do not deny there will be hardships we must combat. For that, I rely on my Fey Blades, while Caelrod uses his magics. Which is of more use is up to you. Very well. I have not had cause to use my blades in some time. I will shadow step to Sincere, and await you to meet me there. Our work awaits, mortal. Let us make haste. Goodbye.
At last, you come, and we can recover the key. I knew the Tuatha had taken hold of Cluricon, but I never thought it would be like this. When I last walked here, it was a solemn place, but beautiful. Kind Fae tended to the corners and halls. Now it lies silent, corrupted, and sullied. But we cannot dwell on what has transpired. To reach the key to the sorrows, we must first seek 3 votives in addition to this one. They will grant us passage. We must go deeper still into Sincere. The way is not open, however, to one that does not bear the proper votives. The votives were originally borne by Fae that tended this hollow, but I think they are held by something more sinister now. Goodbye. So you have gathered all the voters. Then we may continue onward to the next trial we must face, the Crying Eyes. When we reach them, then I will tell you more on the subject. They are deeper in the dungeon. Press forward and we shall reach them. Goodbye. The way is clear. Come, let us press onward. There is still another challenge to overcome. Before we can reach the key, we must bypass the Crying Eyes. Then the key to the sorrows will be ours again. Goodbye. You have come. Here, we have reached the Crying Eyes. When this hollow was first shaped, those statues did not weep. But now they weep for all eternity. They alone guard the way to the key. You must approach them, mortal. They will show you the way forward, if only you answer them. Approach the Crying Eyes and observe. They show you the knowledge you need to advance. Answer what they ask, and we shall be free to continue. Goodbye. You have come. You have come. Time is fleeting, mortal. We must recover the key to the sorrows. Goodbye. You have come. Fleeting mortal. Goodbye. Time is fleeting, mortal. You have come. Time is fleeting, mortal. We must recover. Goodbye. Time is fleeting, mortal. Goodbye. You have come. That is the key to the sorrows, mortal. It is perhaps not the sort you are used to, but that is certainly it. It is a branch of the ancient and wizened tree whose roots touch this world and Ashara, the plane of magic to which all Fae belong. It is a branch of the gallows tree. The sorrows take the form of the gallows tree in both realms, and this branch creates the bridge between them. Come, let us ferry it to Bizarane. Goodbye.
Greetings, Siegebreaker. Although there is much that must be done, I have time to talk. Once, it seemed nothing more than a symbol of our house. But I have come to learn things I never would have understood had it not been here. The gallows tree is more important than we ever thought, mortal. Take heart of it, for we will need its strength in the times of need ahead. We are all but gone, and all that remains in our stead are whisperers. In many ways, we were the vanguards of winter. We became the harbingers of this doom. But there is some small hope in knowing that there was life before the House of Sorrows, in the time of the Weeping King. Once he was a mighty figure among us, but when the house reached an accord with the Tuatha, he would not accept the terms and left. I know he fights for the sake of our people, but in truth, I have always feared him. It is hard to trust one that gives into war so soon. They could delve the essence of entropy from the bodies of the Winter Fae, but they did more, so much more. The Weeping King lived on through them, his axe persisting long after he left these lands. For the Weeping King is always needed, even now. Farewell.
It was good that the key was recovered, mortal. Bizarane waits for it, and I would see no more ruin brought to our people. Bizarane has need of the key, mortal. For though he has the knowledge of how to reach the Sorrows, the key is required for him to stop the Tuatha. Goodbye.
Stories of your kind's hastiness seem to have been exaggerated. The key to the Sorrows awaits in Sincere, not with me. Bizarane has learned all he needs to employ it. Very well.
Speak. You have the key to the Sorrows. That was well done. Indeed, everything you have done is more than I could have possibly hoped for. My reliance on you to this point was never my initial plan. I only needed Kadarok dead at the hands of someone else. But when I learned how willing you were to hound the Tuatha, I saw you would rise to every occasion. You became my faithful instrument. How could Saturnin have eluded the minds of so many for these long years? Simple. He was a ruse. His existence was fabricated. While all eyes watched for Saturnin, another was free to wage his war, namely me. All for the glory of Gadflow and our god. When you killed the Baelor, I saw an opportunity to end the house and the mortal armies simultaneously. You became my road to a perfect victory. Your ignorance of Fae culture, meaning your intonation, made you ideal. You lacked the context others might have used to expose me. But there is more. You are the hero of Mel Senshir. You may not admit it, but you are a symbol to mortals, a rallying point for their armies. Who better to be the blade that I used to kill the Alfar? Who better to destroy the House of Sorrows? It makes my triumph complete. Perfect. True, I do not share the face of my brethren. As I explained to Gadflow, it was a necessary part of the plan. I have not worn this mask without sacrifice. Too long have I gone without feeling the warmth of Prismere or the love of my god. But soon this will end, and I can take my rightful place again. You mean, why not announce my intent in a more obvious and boorish, or shall we say, mortal manner? I had to have the Sorrows, but they were lost. It took years before I even learned of the Eldest, much less their location. To reach the Eldest, I needed this house to die. To do that, I needed a rebellion. To do that, I needed an assassination. And to do that, I needed you. You threaten me with death as though it is some great finality. We might both testify to the contrary. I will excuse your inevitable resistance, but if you have any sense, then you already know that you cannot reach me nor follow me. We part ways here. Find comfort, at least, that you will be long dead before the sorrows flood the minds of your mortal armies. Mercer will cut you down here. Farewell.
No, they're gonna kill the eldest. Survived. For better or worse, I know not. The house is in ruins, the eldest lie butchered, and Bizerain has betrayed us to the Tuatha. He must be denied. For our honored sorrow, our broken pride, our due vengeance. He cannot be allowed to use the house for war. It is both near and far. It will be difficult for mortal to understand. Ashara is an ethereal plane, another realm of existence. In the Midden, the barrier between this realm and Ashara is weak, and we can exploit that. I did not always know. When you went to Damelrock, I meditated beneath the gallows tree, and a part of me that had long slumbered awakened. It makes sense now. Why I could practice delving when all had lost the art. Why I can commune with sorrows. Be it fate or chance, we must take advantage of this. I think that as the Weeping King, I can bring us to the sorrows in time to stop Bizerain. I do not know what will happen if I attempt to bring you into Ashara, but you have a strong will. That alone may save you. Bizerain has a head start on us. However short, it is likely still enough. Be on your guard. We must hurry. You have a strong force of will, stronger than I felt possible. I have never heard tell of a mortal that could stand in a Shara. But we are here. I can recall now, vaguely. I walked this place before, and shaped the ground. That tree in the center, it is the embodiment of the sorrows. Bizarrain will be there, but he has prepared himself. This barrier keeps us from him, and there are other magics at work. The tree in the center of the space, the inversion of the gallows tree that you've seen in the midden, that is the form of the sorrows. The midden is the cradle of winter. It is connected to this realm where the winter fae descend from. The gallows tree serves to bridge the midden and Ashara. It is a place the weeping that I crafted to house the sorrows. Beyond its borders is Ashara, the plane. When fae are born, their life force comes from Ashara, and to Ashara their life force returns upon death. This is a powerful place. Yes, we can. I can sense the conduits the magic follows, and there are weak points, nexuses of energy that we can exploit. But Bizarrain is no fool. He will not leave them unguarded. And I feel strange presences. There is something waiting, mortal. Something dreadful. Bizarrain is correct in that he can manipulate the magic of this place, but we can manipulate it as well, if not as easily. The barrier is strong, but it feeds off nexuses of energy, and those are vulnerable. We must destroy them to reach Bizarrain. We must hurry. We must be quick.
We meet again, mortal. Can I truly be here? Standing before the sorrows? I remember no swords, fire, and then nothing. But he brought me back to fight you. I can't. I'm sorry, mortal. So sorry.
You dare tread here? A mortal dare shows himself in the sacred lands of the House of Sorrows. I have been dead a short time, and already I learned so much since he raised me. You are the cause of all this. Bizarrain relied on you for his plans. Because of you, the house is dead.
There is no time to speak. We must stop Bizarrain before he can... We must hurry.
Finally, you have come. I must admit, I did not give you credit when last we faced each other. And now, I am here. My master has raised me to protect his labours, and I will oblige him. You may have bested me previously, but you will not do so again. Perhaps if I take your head here, my master will have faith in me once again. Shall we find out?
And so you have finally reached me. I have waited, mortal. The longest of any I have waited. And now, Bizarrain has raised me against my will to be part of his design. I sought to stop him. I found the plan he had conspired, and I fled the house, for I knew not what to do. But I could have stopped this scheme. And then you came and killed me. And now I am a puppet to his will. He cannot be stopped, mortal. Bizarrain cannot be stopped.
must be quick. There is no time to speak. We must stop Bizarrain before he can... We must hurry.
You have slain what vestiges of your past I could conjure, and the barrier has fallen. So now, we are here. You think your presence here can stay my spells? The last words have been uttered. You are too late to stop me. I cannot. You do not understand Fae, mortal. What I do is for the good of all the Winter Kingdom. There are fires coming to this world. I have only glimpsed a fleeting shadow of them, and I am awed and scared and humbled. Only the Tuatha will be able to bear these tribulations, so they must survive this war. Now, you understand why I must fight. I have to fight.
Bizarrain may be dead, but the death blow is still his. The sorrows have already begun escaping their seal. We need to act quickly, or this will all be for nothing. I must seal the sorrows within myself. I do not know for sure. I will be forced to remain in Ashara lest the sorrows break free once more. Whether I will live or die is unclear. But I cannot be afraid. It must be done. For the good of mortals. For the good of Fae. It is a noble sentiment, mortal, but you do not understand. They must be anchored in Ashara, and you cannot remain here. Only I can. But please, bear witness to this last act. Tell the world what happened here, how the House of Sorrows ended. We must hurry.
The jester of the King of Winter, the fool who made a mockery of life, of everything, languished in a discontent. He heard the whisperings of power, felt its pulse. He saw visions of an endless winter, of a totality of nothingness. He was Gadflow, and he would follow the cycle no longer.
Bueno, gente, pues hasta aquí hemos llegado hoy, ¿vale? Mañana probablemente no haya directo, mañana, bueno, a esta hora por la noche sí, pero por la mañana y eso no. Me dedicaré, si tengo tiempo, a dar una vueltecita yo por aquí y ver qué misiones secundarias más se pueden coger para luego ir haciéndolas juntos y antes de tirarnos por la principal, poco más. Pues nada, como siempre, gente, gracias a los que habéis estado en directo, gracias a los que lo veáis luego, a los suscritos, muchas gracias, a los no suscritos, gracias, pero un poquito menos. Suscribiros, pendejos, que es gratis. Bueno, barato y gratuito. BBG. Vale, bueno, gente, pues hasta aquí. Adiós.